Hey guys, welcome back to Raid Shadow Legends. In today's video, we are a week into my new account. I want to go through the account, where we've reached in everything in the game, and go through some of the biggest tips that I have for newer players when you are jumping into it. As you can see, we're on day 7 of login. We're towards the end of the day for that login, and I'm pretty happy with the progress we've made. In general, you will normally see recommendations of just go Kale and rush Kale, get him to 6-star and stuff like that. But since the introduction of Supreme Gallic, I'm running an experiment with this count where I started with normal Gallic and then I picked Supreme Gallic. The normal Gallic unlocked the faction crypts for me for 7 days, and we've been dominating it with these 2 champions. This whole series, you can go watch the other videos to learn more about it and what we've been doing. Just note, if you are wanting to play it safe and this strategy is for super sweaty grindy players, you know, Kale is still a very, very safe bet to choose as your starter. But let's go through where we managed to get to, and then I'll leave a timestamp if you want to go through some big tips that I have that I think are really important for a lot of players based on questions I've been seeing in the comments as well. So if you notice here, our Tagoar is 6-star. I made my second 6-star and I did end up going with Tagoar. I think this was a fantastic decision. This guy absolutely hard carries a lot of content. Everyone can die, he can be alive, he can revive everyone, and then you get cooking again. I only really have 3 decently built champions, which is... and one of them's not even that decent. Like, this guy's on like farmable gear essentially, but he's just got really good base stats at, like, he's got 14,000 base HP at 5 stars. So Mausoleum Mage is just chunky in general, so he's okay. But then I got Tagoar, really decent at an extra 107 speed, you know, extra 26,000 HP. Now that he's 6-star, that HP was a big difference for him. And then my Supreme Gallic at 186 speed, you know, crit capped for him, bit of crit damage, bit of accuracy. He does need more accuracy, but those are the basic 3 builds that I have. Everyone else is kind of in really scuffed builds that are not complete yet, that I am definitely working on towards in the future. But let's take a look at what we managed to do. Now, the big one for me in this one is that 6-starring the Tagoar allowed me to clear stage 17, and I can do this on repeat. Now, stage 17 drops, I think it's like 90 to 95% of the time it's going to drop legendary materials, and when it drops them, each drop is like, I think it's between 6 and 9 or something like that. I'll leave a screenshot of my last like double run where I used the 8 keys and show you guys with the drops, because the drops were insane and we are actually going to use some of them, but I'm actually suffering from success on this one, because you can see I've got 28 of the gold ones and only 30 of the purples, so I don't have enough purples to craft this stuff, but they will come along the way. We'll craft those in a minute. But yeah, that was the big thing for me with the Tagoar, because if we look at Faction Wars, the day is about to reset in about 15 minutes, and you'll see I've got 2 hours and 37 minutes. So as soon as the day resets, when I finish recording this, I'm going to jump in here and get another ton of these things for crafting, which is just a huge boost to try and get some good pieces of gear. Now, as we jump into the dungeons, the elemental dungeons I haven't really looked at yet, but we did go Ice Golem Peak. We're up to stage 17. It is a slow run. I only do these when I get into harder difficulties, because I'm not like a big spender, so I don't have endless stamina. I do these on single runs. I don't do them on the super raids, because you never know. So I've done 6 runs of this and I failed once. So that's kind of where it's at. I took dragons up to 17 as well, just to test it, and we won, but like Gallic sort of soloed the last 20% of the boss's health. Everyone else was dead, so I didn't want to try 18 yet on that one, but we have cleared up to 17. Spider's Den, we are on easy farm of level 10. For those that don't know, stage 10 of Spider Den is bugged, and it basically almost always drops 5 stars if it drops the accessories, so I don't even care for trying further. I tried soloing this with Gallic. He got the boss to about 20% and then died. I think if I get like another 10 to 20 speed on him, he will be able to solo this one, which will be really nice, because we do have a spider event coming up. But once again, not too stressed, just happy sitting on stage 10 because it is bugged. Besides that, Minotaurs, we're obviously farming stage 15. Minotaurs is a pretty easy dungeon, and I haven't even looked to Fire Knights. The only reason that I actually looked at the Ice Golem was because I am actually on this mission at the moment with the Arbiter mission, where I've got to do them from the Ice Golem's Peak. And the reason I wanted to push and I made my 6-star Tagoar before I'd started doing that is because when we look to these dungeons, level 16 onwards, stop dropping. If you look at the potential extra drops, if we go over, where is it? Okay, so I don't know how to check an individual one. No, you can't check it. But anyway, stage 16 onwards stops dropping the mystery shards and the brews, and you only get artifacts, and then maybe you get a sacred shard. So that's what's really nice about them. You can get sacred shards, but no more of the mysteries or the brews, which is really good because they are just wasted drops essentially. So that's good for the missions that I'm up to in the Arbiters for doing that kind of stuff. Now, as we move on from that, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I kept pushing arena. I'm still refreshing every 15 minutes, taking the free wins as they come. An 80k arbiter, I can do like 40 to 50k arbiters. I'm not going to risk this one, but as you can see, we are halfway on our way to gold 3. The day's about to reset. Thanks to everyone in the comments. The last video told me you could only lose on defense 10 times. So basically, I'm just attacking more than I'm getting beat. So I should be able to keep climbing, but just note this does take absolute sweat lord mentality to go ahead and do this and climb up the ranks. I definitely want to get into gold 3 because then I do start getting the increased drops to 3 per win. Then if I can get into gold 4, it's 4 per win, and that is going to be absolutely huge for me for upgrading my Great Hall. And that is pretty much where we're at. If we look at the Arbiter missions over here, you can see we're still cruising through them, and I'm going to get stuck on the next one that requires me to make three 6 stars is going to be where I get stuck next, but we'll keep pushing. I will also get massively stuck at the one where it's I got to do 75 defeat 75 champions in arena. I'm only taking on the easy beats that have 1 champion on their defense, so this one's going to take a little bit for me, but we will eventually get there. And that's pretty much the roundup of the account and where we're at. Oh, also we do have a tournament going on, which I'm super jacked with. I did actually throw a couple gems into refreshing my tag team arena tokens just to really net myself this top position. You can see it resets in 2 hours and 40 or finishes in 2 hours and 44 minutes. So I should be getting myself some legendary 6-star artifacts there as well. Once again, this was just from Giga Sweating, making sure I used everything and then spending a little bit of diamonds on refreshes just to make sure that I could get there and top that one out. As we look at the CVC at the moment, the clan rewards we maxed out. The clan absolutely dominated that. We should get all of these. My personal rewards I have maxed out as well, so I will get all of those on top of that. So pretty happy with the way it's gone for the first week of all of that stuff. So let's jump into the Forge, and then I'll go into the tips section. So the Forge over here, I'm still using these two. I'm very tempted to go ahead and maybe like craft a chest plate with a speed sub. Because like a chest or gloves, you know, gloves, I don't mind crit rate, I don't mind crit damage, I don't mind HP percent, I don't mind defense percent, and then any of those with the speed substat is good. And similarly with the chest, I don't mind accuracy, HP percent, defense percent, attack percent, but I think I don't have enough pieces built yet to warrant that, but I do think those percentage ones are going to be big, and I also hold out hope that just doing this could get me a set of boots. So I think I'm going to craft a few more just like this to see what I land, and then go on from there. Also, I do consider doing something like crafting boots and then getting like the HP percent charm, or the you know what I mean, or the crit damage charm. Oh no, HP percent mainly, so that you can't if you get the HP percent charm on the substat. My theory is it's less likely to get HP percent as the main stat, so increases your chance of speed. That's all stuff that I will play around with, but I'm not going to use these yet. I don't have a big enough roster, so I'm still just in the process of, you know, just crafting them, see what I get, and make the most of it. So let's see what we get. Hopefully we get a 6-star legendary with a main stat that is useful. I have not got a 6-star legendary of the 6-star of these ones of perception yet that has a good main stat. All my good ones have been in the top 3 pieces. Let's see how we go. Craft. Okay, gauntlets with flat defense. Dude, that sucks. Dude, that sucks. And they're only blue. All right, sold that. We got 2 more that we can craft, and then we're out of purples. Let's go. Okay, blue again. 6-star. It's got crit damage. Okay, we'll keep that. Not the greatest piece. Come on. Give me a gold. Dude. I mean, that one wasn't bad with the attack and crit rate, but it's only a 5-star. The charms absolutely came in putrid for that one. That sucked. And this is the gamble you do with this strategy. You get some god pieces. You do get some absolute dud rolls. Unfortunately, the last few I've had, the last 2 days worth have been trash. Hopefully my last day can net me a really solid piece that I can go ahead and dominate with. I don't think I have any of these ones to craft. No, I do not. So that is where we're at there. All right, let's go through some tips that I think a lot of players will be able to use. First of all, obviously you want to use be following your your challenges, getting through those, they're pretty set. Like once you get to like the higher end, like the last 2 tiers, you can pretty much not stress about them too much. But the Arbiter missions are the big one. Now, one thing you'll see on my account is that my Gallic here, my Supreme Gallic and my Tagoar, you can see I haven't taken them to 6-star. Now, 6-star Awakened. Now, 6-star Awakened would unlock the Tabard. Now, I'm not going to farm spiders until there's an event. That's another tip. I'll talk about that in a sec. But I'm not going to make them a 6-star Ascension until the Arbiter mission calls for it. So if you look over here on an Arbiter mission, I believe there's one just coming up pretty soon. Ascend a champion to level 6 of Ascension. Now, this is not retrospective. So you have to do this when it unlocks. So that is why I will not be doing that for any of my champions making them 6-star. In the early missions, it's the same for getting to 5-star Ascension. You don't want to just 5-star things straight away unless it is for an Arbiter mission until you pass those phase of Arbiter missions, because otherwise you've got to get another character up there and go ahead and do that, which is an absolute nightmare. So I am not 6-starring Ascension anything until that. Whereas if you see the level champions to level 60, this one is retrospective, and same with making them 6-star, that is retrospective, but it's just the Awakening, the Ascending ones. The Ascending ones are not retrospective, which absolutely sucks, unfortunately. But that is something definitely to pay attention to. But besides that, definitely keep following those missions. Now, something I've seen a lot of, and I'm going to do a complete farming guide, but a lot of people are saying, I can't farm stages. I'm struggling to farm. A tip, and in general, the further the stages that you're farming, the more experience is going to give. So a lot of people recommend farming 12-3, but if you can't do that, you can go to another stage that you can farm that is higher. Also make use of, being able to farm other champions that you're looking for from drops or extra gear that you might use, whether it be like 4 or 5-star boots of a set or something like that. But the thing is that I highly recommend you do a team setup for your farming. This is my farming team setup. Let's say I was leveling some fodder. This is my setup with my Gallic. Now, if you have a Kale as your farmer, very, very similar things you're going to do. But if you look here on my Supreme Gallic, you can see on wave 1, I have this turned off. Now, I could also have this on never use, but use it once at the start, but I kill everything before I get round to a second use. Then at round 2, it's got don't use this one, but use it once at the start and never use this one. That way, when I get to round 3, this thing is off of cooldown and I can delete wave 3. When he was 5-star, this is not so much when he's at 6-star, this just makes it faster. But when he's at 6-star, he can farm it anyway. But when he was 5-star, doing this allowed me to farm harder stages that I otherwise would not have been able to do if I left it on full auto. So definitely abuse this. You unlock this system. You unlock this system at level 30. Once you unlock it, abuse it with your farmer, and it can make things a lot easier. Just note when you finish leveling the fodder you're up to, you just got to come over here and then switch over your fodder for whatever you want to fodder off. So that is a big, big tip that I've seen a lot of people struggling to farm stages, and that can help you an absolute ton as you grind your way through trying to progress. The other thing is, I think in general, you really do want to focus on leveling up your fodder units and getting some 6-stars early on. I wouldn't be dumping much stamina into dungeons unless there's an Arbiter mission that calls for it, because the dungeons are just absolute. They're just not great value in the early game. Even when you get up to stage 13, as you saw in one of my previous videos, I was soloing stage 13 with Gallic on like day 3 or 4. The drop rate of 6-stars just isn't enough to warrant doing it, in my opinion. You're better off just going back to campaign, farming up those 40 units and getting your 6-stars. That is where I think the highest priority needs to lie, definitely in the early game, outside of Arbiter missions, of course. The other thing is, look at the events coming up. So in the Plarium play, there's a calendar on the PC client. I don't know where to find it on the mobile client, but there's a calendar that shows you things that are coming up. For instance, in less than a week, there's going to be a spider tournament coming up. So even though if we look at my champions here, you can see I don't have an amulet on him. I don't have a banner ready for him either. I've got a pretty average, it's pretty average defense. So I got a pretty average ring. I need these things on everyone. And to get these, I need to farm spider. And I'm able to do level 10 of spider, which gives me really, really good drops. Sorry, campaign, what am I doing? Spider level 10, it's broken and gives you really good drops, a lot of 5 stars. So I could be farming that now to get that, but there's no point because I'm going to hold out because I'm going to wait till the Spider tournament drops. That way I can use my stamina now to start preparing to make my next 6 star and farm that efficiently. And then when the Spider tournament drops, I can go ahead and farm that, get all that for everyone, and then, you know, start looking towards that direction. So always looking at what is coming up. If you're thinking about farming something, is always a good idea because, like I said, in general, when you look at the Arbiter missions, to get through the Arbiter missions, like all of them, you will end up needing at least 8 6 stars if you do it fully efficiently and don't waste, don't make anything 6 star ascended before you need to and stuff like that, if you're playing it absolutely efficiently. So that's why I do think leveling fodder is like the point of call. I do like jumping into dungeons just to see how far I can get, but in general, I don't spend much time there. I just keep focusing on those Arbiter missions and leveling up food at this stage. There will come a time when I jump in and farm some Minotaur. Minotaur is not a bad place to farm if you can farm stage 15 because you are farming at max efficiency. So there's no losses in that one. So I do think this is a kind of solid place to do it. Also, with Minotaur, just never put fodder in there because they could steal some of the scrolls and you do not want to be doing that. Besides that, I think it's all pretty standard stuff. You know, you just keep grinding through, following those Arbiter missions, leveling up fodder and getting your 6 stars in the early game. That is all I really focused on for the first week of play. And then the other thing I focused on is, because I'm sweating out the arena, is checking back here every 15 minutes and just climbing as far as I can to try and get my rank as high as possible. But once again, if you're not someone who has the time to allocate to this game that much, then I would definitely recommend staying down in that silver 4 region so that you don't waste a bunch of arena tickets. Because if you're not checking this every 15 minutes, you will end up overcapping on your arena tickets, especially if you even look at mine, for instance. I've been refreshing every 15 minutes. I still got 2 of these. I still got 15 arena attacks that I need to use in the next 12 hours. So it becomes very intensive. So definitely stay on top of that if you are. But once again, if you're someone who can't do that refreshing, then definitely stay down in that silver 4 region where you can have some more battles that you can win. And besides that, that's pretty much it. The main focus, like if you use my download link and get these champions, essentially these 3 are going to carry you. If you didn't go for Supreme Gallic, then your Kale is going to be in place of Gallic. And those 3 really carry you through the early game. You know, you got defense buffs, you've got shields, speed buffs, and then you got your damage, and then you got the big revives off of Tagoar, and then you got cleanses and extra healing from Mausoleum Mage. These 3 do make a really good core. Then you can throw in things like Uugo, like Bellower, you know, anything else to fill in the extra gaps. But these 3 make a really solid early game core. Anyway, that is pretty much everything I wanted to go through in this one. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you got any suggestions as well. Always open to ideas. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.